Alright, hey everyone, Wadabout here, and welcome back to Cavern Kings. So, to continue the saga of this chick I knew, we're gonna play as Top Hat, because I haven't played Top Hat at all. And, Shovel will be fine. We'll see. But let's see. Oh, yes, I'm gonna have all sorts of kickback on this run. This is gonna be really interesting. Okay. God, I have, like, no control right now. Oh, this is fascinating. I also have, like, no health. Which is also concerning. Oh, well. As long as we don't get gibbed up by those guys. Alright. I should probably leave after a certain... Holy crap, what is even going on here? You guys, they're not coming for me. I gotta come for them. Well, they all died in a hurry. Okay, so, continuing the story from last episode. Seeing as I'm doing a double-decker Cavern Kings run. Well, let's see. Okay. I don't even know what chat is talking about at this point. Apparently magic. Oh, God. Unfortunately, as far as this game is concerned... Oh, interesting. The kickback on the shovel actually isn't that substantial. It's just all drill cannon. Oh, God. Note to self, don't touch that. That is how the pain train happens. Okay, there we go. That could have gone better. So the problem with Top Hat. Every time you die, you lose like half of your health. However, you also gain extra damage, so assuming I can somehow survive through this, we'll be okay. But anyway, so story about girl, old man, boyfriend, they break up, whatever, not the end of the world, happens. Now, the thing about this girl is she had suitors. She had suitors well throughout her entire relationship with old man. Old man Beer Gut, I guess. We can call him, I don't even know. God, he would be really pissed if he found this video, but that's okay. I don't think he cares about video games at all. So, she has suitors. One of her suitors is one of my very good friends. Alright, at the time. We're not friends anymore. But so, he really, really wants to be with this girl. He's wanted to be with her throughout the entirety of her relationship with Old Man Beer Gut. And, so as soon as she breaks up with Old Man Beer Gut, it's pretty much just all of the horses that you, like, could kind of see in the stables, like, watching the mare. Suddenly, they're going, and it's just the weirdest dance of, like, awkward ever. Like, I mentioned that I was sort of competing with the stalker for my ex-girlfriend, sort of at the time. Alright, well, this was worse, because it was, like, multiple guys. I think it was, like, 4 or 5, because the thing is, with, you know, my ex-girlfriend at the time, nobody really knew of her, so all of the upperclassmen would kind of leave the underclassmen alone, just because it's like, alright, you know, this is weird and creepy. And, you know, we shouldn't, like, go after girls much younger than us. Though there were people that definitely did that. Let's see, how does that toxic mushroom even work? I don't even know. Okay. Let's see. Why did I leave early? I don't even know. Okay, well, whatever. I guess I'm looking for loot more than anything else, even though I need levels. That's the most important thing. That is very confusing. Oh, let's see. Unfortunately, I don't have... Okay, got it. Oh, God. He almost got me. And, oh, he did get me. Shit, this is bad. We might have to mulligan this run. I got 12 hit points. I want to have a good Top Hat run. It's not going to go well. Oh, well. Maybe I should go... Oh, you know what I should go... I should go play as the Beetle character after this, actually. Yeah, I'll go do that, because this is not going to last longer than, like, 1 or 2 more attacks. I honestly think I'm going to get insta-gibbed by something. Really anything. At least I do all sorts of damage, so we got that going for us. Anyway, story. So, there was my friend... Yep, thought so, insta-gibbed. But so... I have not even seen how many people are even watching us right now. The answer is actually a fair number. Cool. Anyway, let's get this sorted. There we go. So we're going to retry, and we're going to be playing as Thorax. Why Thorax? Because wind leaf should actually solve our problems here. Yes, this is going to be a good run, hopefully. But also, since we're Thorax, we're going to have a shit ton of health, and I think we also take less damage by default. So there's that. This is going to be a fun run. Slow run at first, but yeah, whatever, who cares? It's not like I really need to go anywhere. Okay, so, story. So, there's my friend at the time. There's the sort of reclusive weird dude that everybody kind of liked because he'd do, like, crazy stuff. Like, he was a wizard with computers and games and all sorts of other things. Like, he could do more stuff than, like, most people could even think possible with a computer, which, I mean, I feel like I'm showering him with too many praises, but, like, he did really strange stuff, and it worked every single time. Or he'd get, like, ridiculously angry, and then it was even funnier, because, like, alright, suddenly you have this pasty white nerd going berserk on a server. Both, you know, in the whole, like, setting it up, and or physically abusing it. He'd also sometimes, like, sort of abuse his roommate, and his roommate would get back at him in, like, really devious ways. But anyway, so there's that guy. And then, like, the thing is, I was mentioning, you know, ex-girlfriend didn't have a whole lot of people going after her just because she was new. So it's like, alright, you know, mostly just freshmen going after her because nobody knew better. Whereas, like, all of the upperclassmen kind of know, you generally don't try and date people in the same group as you, because then you're gonna have to see them forever. I really wish they had told me that, as well as, like, everybody else, because people are stupid when it comes to relationships in college. People just find the closest piece of meat, it feels like sometimes. But anyway, enough derision. Let's just continue slogging onwards. Whoa, I didn't even realize this, but Thorax gains all sorts of health. He gains 6 health per level. Oh, wow. It's going to make this a really wacky run. But so, apart from those two, I kind of forget who the other ones were. There was the Indian guy who kind of had weird social issues. It's not that he had, like, personal space issues, but he, like, I mentioned Stalker. This guy wasn't nearly as creepy as Stalker, but he stalked everyone. Whether or not he even intended to do so, he would stalk people, and it was creepy. And he had, like, zero interest in guys, so it was just like, alright, well, you are not, like, an okay person to be around. Yeah, no Darkest Dungeon tonight. I am not mentally capable of dealing with tactics. I'm just going to be storybotting it, pretty much, or bardbot, apparently. I'm just going to be bardbotting it for the rest of the night, because I have not slept. But anyway, so, yeah, the Indian guy, like, super stereotypically did not know how to deal with women, had never dated anyone before, yada yada yada. So he was there, and, like, the thing is, since I was such a good friend with this girl, all of the guys thought I was competition. All of them. Anxious you were still alive. I think we really haven't lost a whole lot of people lately. I think, was it Rush died? One person got insta-gibbed. Don't remember who it was. I'll have to double check. But so everybody was assuming that I was like part of the competition, which of course is super annoying because, like, you know, suddenly you have like a bunch of guys giving me the cold shoulder, and it's like, I do not give a shit about this girl. I have my own problems to deal with, and, like, honestly, I'm super busy and we're just friends. And, like, it was just kind of this weird subconscious just battle with all of these guys for her time, even though I was just there because she was a friend. And it was just odd that, like, the moment a girl becomes single, you can't just be her friend. It's like, yes, she's 3 years older than me. That would be weird as a freshman. That would be really weird. Did not stop some of the other guys, but whatever, no big deal. But so, yeah, wow. Actually, cool thing about Thorax, we don't actually have to level as much. I mean, leveling is useful, but we might actually get up to 500 health here, which would be cool. But so, a lot of dudes were, like, acting really weird around me for quite a while. And eventually, kind of, not exactly out of left field, but my friend at the time, I think the problem with him is he never really, like... I hate using this term, but, like, for a while, everybody would use, you know, the term friend zone to talk about, you know, friends that will never be anything more than friends, yada yada yada. And it's like a super negative thing for dudes, especially dudes that are nerds and are trying to pursue a girl that they've been friends with for a while. So I didn't realize this at the time, but so my friend that was pursuing this girl had effectively just solidified his position in her friend zone to the point where he was never getting out. And he didn't really ever recognize that. And he was like, he was trying to like bolster support from everybody as though everybody else had a vote as to who this girl dated. It was ridiculous. And like at the time I was just like, all right, man, you know, I'll help. What can I do? And pretty much within, I want to say, like 1 or 2 days of him pursuing her, she pulled him aside and was like, no, stop. Seriously, this is bad. At which point he got like super dejected and then redoubled his efforts. At which point it was just like, all right, you have problems. And like I can tell stories about that guy. Not too many because I stopped talking to him pretty soon after. But so eventually this girl ends up with computer wizard guy. All right, nobody's terribly surprised. They were friends for a while. And like she had mentioned that she had been crushing on him for ages. God, I feel like I'm telling high school gossip or something. Well, I mean, effectively I am. It's just college. But so, relationship goes. Unfortunately, wizard guy, I mentioned he, like, would beat up his servers and stuff and, like, have anger issues. Unfortunately, those anger issues kind of traveled into the relationship. And, well, I think he only ever was, like, physically abusive once, which is, like, super red flag. Ladies, gentlemen, if your SO is, like, physically abusive in any way, shape, or form, just leave. It's not worth it. They don't change, generally, if ever. And if they do, it's, like, very unlikely that they're going to stay changed. I don't know. It's really hard to work with that one. But seriously, physical abuse, not good. Holy shit, this is the fastest I think I will ever move as Thorax. Hello. I'm a tank. Boop, boop. I should probably actually leap in the middle so I can fight these guys instead of just repeatedly firing myself in the corner. But anyway, so he had anger issues, and most of us kind of like downplayed it because we didn't really see it happen. But eventually I was talking to his roommate, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of worried about this. And it's like, okay, well, Alright, now, the thing I haven't mentioned about this girl that like every guy was trying to date, she had a doppelganger. Now, if you don't know what a doppelganger is, oh god, I want that. If you don't know what a doppelganger is a creature, mythological creature that looks exactly like somebody else, or has the ability to okay, I just got a golem's core, not burst fire. Good. It looks like somebody else. That's effectively all it is. However, in real life, it's usually just somebody that looks a lot like you. Problem is, except for the mustache that the doppelganger had, because she, I think, was partly Italian, and I think that's fairly common. I don't know. I think it's also a problem with Greeks. God, I don't know. I've never had to deal with it. But so apart from the like slight facial hair issues that, you know, were easily taken care of, these two girls looked nigh identical. The same height, same general build, same hair color, same haircut, all sorts of things. So apart from like what they were wearing, and like if you looked at them, it was kind of obvious based on their face which one's which, because they had wildly different expressions generally, because their personalities were fairly different. But so they often would actually like do the effectively parent trap on boyfriends or other people just for funsies. It was really funny and it was really cool. Because I got to be privy to some of these jokes as being a friend with both of them. Unfortunately, what ends up happening as a result of this relationship, this, you know, oh shoot, come on, home 6 shard. I don't entirely know why the home 6 shard just flies around and shoots people, but okay, not that big of a deal. Intense finally caught a rant bot. I think it's more of a bard bot than a rant bot today. Rantbot was like 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, kind of hard to tell. But these two girls look the same. And now, physically abusive guy. Also, you know, kind of emotionally neglectful, all sorts of things. Terrible at interpersonal communication and just relationships in general. So this guy, he's not a bad person. I think he just has all sorts of unresolved issues. And unfortunately, like, was not in a good position to get any of them fixed. Because the sad thing is, like, I think a lot of it stemmed from, like, parental problems. Because I think there were a lot of kids in like my student organization whose parents just really did not care about them. I think this guy was one of the chief among them. But so he had issues with like parental stuff, and this is where the story kind of gets depressing. But so in the end, they're kind of gearing up to break up and stuff. And so my friend, the non-doppel version, is like, all right, you know, so my effectively, you know, the lookalike girl is planning to go to Canada, and my boyfriend, because she was still dating, you know, computer wizard at the time. Oh wow, 2 win leaves in 1 run. Hey, can I move like a regular person yet? Almost. But so computer wizard and doppelganger are planning on going to Canada. Now, why would you go to Canada? Mainly, no good reason. But if you were under 21, that's why you go to Canada. Both of them were over 21, so I didn't really understand why they were going to Canada. But, what ends up happening is my friend is like, alright, so these two are going, and, like, my relationship's on the rocks. I want you to go with, and effectively spy on them, and it's just like, alright, this is weird. And, like, this is weird, and alright, I'll do it. I've always wanted to go to Niagara Falls, go back to Niagara Falls during the winter. Also, the level's gone. Because if you ever go to Niagara Falls during the winter, especially when it's cold enough for water to freeze, but not cold enough for the falls to freeze. Oh shoot, there is actually a chest there. Come on, got it. Wow, that was sneaky. It's really cool because you can actually get like sheet ice to form on you. Unfortunately, it was not cold enough in this specific instance. But effectively, I went to Canada to spy on my friend's clone for her because she was afraid her clone was stealing her boyfriend. And I don't exactly remember what like my conclusion was, but I think eventually I was just like, yeah, it's not looking good for you. At which point, like, she got super upset and is like, well, yeah, I mean, you asked. I don't mince words. It just does not happen. The Wanderbot tells it how it is. I blame Art College. Wow, this level destroyed itself too. Okay. But so I go to Canada spy, and like the two of them are not like making googly eyes, but they're definitely like only talking to each other. Now, mind you, I've been third wheel on a date before. I was the rickety third wheel there. It was pretty bad. So it's like, all right. Oh shoot. I got this. I'll just take the slow fast route down. It worked. But so I was the rickety ass third wheel on a very depressing trip. But, you know, come back, tell my friend, she's upset. They break up within a couple days, get back together for a little bit, and then break up permanently. At which point, everybody is pursuing her again. But she goes on her internship. So it's like, all right, well, all those stallions that were waiting for her now get to pine across the country at her. Oh wait, no, not across the country. Not across the country. Actually, just she actually came to Boston, so only like 1 or 2 states over. So she was gone, but she wasn't gone. So some of those stallions came to visit, and like the thing is, I think this is like a 6-month thing. So 2 quarters. So in my terms, it would be effectively like 2 periods of time. So summer and spring. So I was there, so I was like, all right, hey, we should hang out and stuff. And it's like, all right. And then one of those stallions finds out that, hey, you know, we're going to be hanging out. So he drives down from wherever he lived. How'd that even happen? Probably a missile. But so he drives down from like where he lives to come hang out with us, and then systematically convinces my friend to exclude me from everything so they can go on dates together. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I don't get to like see either of you two ever. And he's like, I mean, you were. I think effectively what ended up happening was like I ended up going into Boston to meet them, to like hang out and stuff, and like get dinner. And I was like, all right, so it'll take me about an hour to get into Boston. So, you know, tell me when to leave. And, you know, I'll meet you at X place. I think we're going to, like, Cheesecake Factory. Fun fact, never been to the Cheesecake Factory. And as a result of this, well, my chances are looking pretty slim. But anyway, I also make a really good cheesecake, so there's not a whole lot of reason to do so. But so, yeah, wow, I haven't had a cheesecake in a while. I should make one. But so, I get to Boston, and, oh, fun fact, they've actually gone back to her place, and they really don't feel like hanging out anymore. So I just kind of wander around Boston for about 2 hours, being like, well, I'm here. Fuck. And that's kind of the point where I decided that I was going to wash my hands on both of them, because, like, alright, dude being kind of a prick, kind of understand, he's trying to be competitive for, quote-unquote, his girl. I mean, he never got her, so there's that. But so, on the other hand, like, she totally should not have done that to me. So, whatever. Wanderbot gets salty. What? Holy crap. That could have done a lot of damage to me. Anyway, so, was that? Okay. Thought my controller was rumbling for a second. I was like, I don't think I've got this even running for that. But so, kind of decide, alright, these people are no longer worth hanging out with. But I still remain friends with the girl, even if I stopped bothering to hang out with her, because it's like, alright, wow, you are, not much better, in retrospect. And I think what ended up happening is, like, she just usually was too wrapped up in her problems for me to specifically be able to be her friend, if that made sense. Like, she was one of those girls, and God, I hate saying this, but, like, one of those girls that the moment she, you know, got a boyfriend, she pretty much stopped hanging out with everybody else. Kind of depending on the boyfriend, though. You know, old man Beer Gut, she would hang out with all sorts of people. Mainly because old man Beer Gut just, they were barely a couple half the time. Which was kind of okay, too. But so, you know, stopped hanging out with her because she just had too many guys pursuing her, and it's just like, alright, well, we can't be friends while this is happening. Because it's just too much of a pain in the ass. But so, sounds like there are interesting stories happening in chat, too. But so, despite the fact that, you know, I'm not really interacting with her anymore, I'm still getting all of the information because I was always the person, you know, that she would... I effectively friend-zoned myself and was, like, in the classic position, but did not give a shit, so it didn't matter that much. Which is probably one of the reasons why these guys got, like, weirdly territorial, because I was the only one she would talk to? I don't even know. It was dumb. Like, they'd try to come to me for, like, secret information. It's like, dude, she doesn't like you. Problem solved. The ones that didn't ask me were the ones that got her. Which, I mean, go figure. You don't cheat at trying to get a girl to fall for you. Dating tips from Wanderbot. I mean, you could probably cheat. There are probably all sorts of things you can do, but there's, like, trying to cheat is not going to look good on your track record. When you're like, hey, date me. I stalked you and, like, demanded information from all of your closer friends, so it would help my bid. It's like, no. That just seems super tacky and stupid. More wind leaves. Hey, we almost move like a regular... Actually, yeah, we do. I can dodge midair now. This is crazy. When does this happen? Also, goddamn lot of eyeballs around here. But so, still hit a lot of the gossip. So, she doesn't date anybody for a solid amount of time. Like, it was actually really surprising how long she stayed single. Of course, being in Boston, you know, working for Microsoft, not having a whole lot of guys pursuing her on a constant daily basis changes things. So, college starts. It's junior year, I think. She was a senior, but, like, she was also a master's student. So I think at that point I'd actually caught up to her as far as like credits and stuff, because they, as an artist, they never sent me on a co-op. Go figure. Kind of frustrating, actually. I really would have loved going on a co-op. It's been a lot harder for me, like, getting any kind of job. Oh, hello. Man, I'm so glad I move like a regular person. That wind leaf really does make Thorax just so much more viable. But so anyway, so junior year starts, and so guy, you know, friend that, you know, didn't really register, that I was like slowly distancing myself from, I effectively just rinsed my hands of the guy completely as a result of his horrible driving. And so he like comes to me begging for help, and I was like, dude, she's turned you down like several times now. Like, no, like, sure, I'll help, but I'm not gonna do anything. Apart from just being, you know, another shoulder to cry on. But so after a little bit, you know, wash my hands of him, whatever. Dude's kind of a prick, has maturity issues. Really, he was just an incredibly entitled person. But so he's pursuing this girl in her room every day, kind of regardless of what's going on, regardless of like what she's doing. And eventually she kind of told me, was like, can you tell him to back off? And I'm like, I think you really need to learn how to tell people to like leave you alone. But there's more. So the abusive ex-boyfriend that she had prior, that, you know, dumped her for a clone, well, he has since broken up with said clone. All right. So he's single again, and pursuing the original. Or, I guess not the original, because technically the clone was older. Whatever, no big deal. So he was pursuing my friend again, after whatever. And she was like, you know, maybe I should give him another chance. I was like, you gave him 2, and then he dumped you for a look-alike. A bitchy look-alike. And she's like, yeah, but he's so nice now. And it's like, no. This is why I don't deal with relationships if I can avoid it, because people are dumb. So it just kind of continues like that. And then out of nowhere comes like this one dude, and like they're dating within a day or two, and it's like, all right, wow, nobody saw this coming. Not even me. But then again, I'd already like kind of left the situation. So it's just like, okay, well, this because I don't have to worry about this anymore. Unfortunately, the guy lived off campus, so I never saw her again. At least for a very long time. How many missiles do I have? I have a lot. Only 5. Not as much as I wanted. I really want to get more wind leaves, though. I want to be like the fastest man in the West. I want to be the goddamn Flash Beetle. But so I stopped seeing her nearly as much, and it's like, all right, this kind of works actually, because like after a certain point, I realized once all of the like relationship-related drama died off, there was very little for the two of us to talk about. And I think part of this was like me also getting like super just grumpy at everybody, because I had enough crap going on, like on my side of things. So it's like, all right, well, I don't want to deal with people that take friendship as like a one-sided thing, which feels kind of super, I don't know. I feel sad for saying that kind of things. It's like, but at the same time, if you've got a friendship that's like completely one-sided, and like they do not care about you, but they use you for emotional support or this, that, or the other things, like, yeah, it's probably better to go find new friends. Holy crap, we're making bank. Not quite as good as the previous one, but then again, we're on a second cycle or whatever. But so she goes off with this guy, and like, despite the fact that I never see her anymore, she still talks to me. It's like, okay, whatever, I guess we can chat. I'm not doing anything, because usually I was like super tired in art critique. And if you've ever been in a like 4-hour long, I was gonna say 3 hours, but no, it could get up to like 4 to 5 hour long critiques, depending on the professor. If you're in one of those and the professor specifically is like the one keeping you so long, there's nothing to do. So it's like, all right, I'll chat. I've got nothing to do, literally. At which point, like, just for the entirety of every time I ever talk to her, it's, I want to get back together with, you know, abusive ex. Abusive ex. Why would you ever do this? Again, ladies, gentlemen, seriously, if you've got an abusive person in your life, cut them out and never go back to them. Stockholm Syndrome is a real thing, and it's a really shitty thing, too.